Are Devotees of Slaanesh committed enough in Tides of Torment? Devotees are new units for Slaanesh, and it shouldn't surprise you that their Doom stack is enabled by the Drew Key Anointed as covered in that video. Let's take a good look at what they can do for you if you are truly devoted to them. Also, the Crossbows version is your only infantry missile unit in the faction ever. Sorry, Slaangors Javelin fanboys. The regulars are recruited for 975 gold and 244 upkeep on usual figures, and on Ultra they come in at 80 entities, well below the norm for infantry. Health is 7,040 unit wide. Armor is 30. Physical resistance 20% as in dodge. Missile resistance 25% at the same time. Leadership 75 is comfortably high. Speed 44 and charge speed 52. These are figures you usually see from skink cohorts. Melee attack 42 as a starting point is not low. Attack interval 4.8 suggests dual weapons, no splash damage. Melee defense 46 is also far from low. Weapon strength 40 is very decent, split base 25 and armor piercing 15, with a bonus versus infantry of 10, which is higher than most of this sort, which is often, let's say, 8. So, this is melee attack 52 versus infantry at rank 0, weapon strength 50. This is Source Warrior Black Orc Sword and Board reminiscent weapon strength at that point. Charge bonus of 30 is quite high for infantry, mass is 100. Oh yeah, this reminds me of Slaangors. This kind of charge bonus on infantry is quite high, but they have varying advantages and disadvantages vis-a-vis one another. The unit has the usual Strider, immunity to psychology, and hide in forest. So, Murderous Euphoria. What I got in-game for the unit version goes through 3 phases, each taking 25 seconds in melee. The first phase gives plus 15% weapon strength. The second phase continues the weapon strength boost and adds plus 8 leadership. The third phase adds the weakened contact effect for minus 25% weapon strength to the enemy, and that one has a duration of infinite for the third phase. Now, there is a cooldown listed as 60 seconds, so I believe this means Phase 1 only triggers once there's been 60 seconds in melee. It doesn't work like Rage or Berserk exactly, but the idea is similar enough. For the so-called Crossbows version, recruited for 1100 gold and 275 upkeep, stats are utterly unchanged until we get to melee attack 38 or 4 or worse, and melee defense 20 and melee defense 44 or 2 worse. Weapon strength 40 is split the same way, with the bonus versus infantry of 10 and the same charge bonus and mass. What is different is a ranged weapon with 12 volleys, 130 range, and yes, let me spoil, it's 1 bolt per entity per volley. Missile strength is listed as 30. Actual hits are base 15 and armor piercing 9. Let me be clear, for a single crossbow, 9 is very high. It takes a special tech to get Cathay ones that high. Reload time is 8 seconds, which is really, really good. Total accuracy 30 is better than the standard 20, and it gets better with veterancy. Calibration distance 95 means less accurate past that. Calibration area 3.4 meters is pretty decent, nothing to be ashamed of, and is modified by the total accuracy, so gets even tighter with rank. There is no multi-target penetration. So what this says is that the missile weapon does quite a lot of damage and gets its damage out fast, but has little longevity late in the fight. Expending one's quiver early in the battle is more advantageous on the battlefield than in the bedroom, to be sure. The unit does not have Murderous Euphoria. Having said that, the Drew Key Anointed has a pip option that provides Frenzy to both units, and that's pretty powerful. For Nakari-style redline skills, Hellish Stride at 3 pips gives plus 8% speed and armor plus 8. Acolytes of Hedonism at rank 7 and up provides leadership plus 5, melee defense plus 5, and physical resistance plus 10%. This is true for T'Challa too. Having said that, Chaos Vanguard for Mortal Chaos Lords gives at 3, armor plus 12, and melee attack plus 8. Legion of Doom gives rank 7 and above ones armor plus 10, melee defense plus 5, and spell resistance plus 20%. In the Slaanesh tech tree, Slaanesh Fighters gives plus 6 leadership. Poof, there you go. Decadent Apostles grants armor plus 10 and missile resistance plus 10% above what they already had. Marvelous Executioners grants melee attack plus 4 and weapon strength plus 10%. Blasphemous Promises adds plus 4 melee defense and plus 10% speed. Mortal Obsession shaves 10% from upkeep and gives a global recruitment duration cut of 1 turn. So how do we use Devotees of Slaanesh? What the melee unit strikes me as is a cross between Black Ark Corsairs and Witch Elves, trading a fair bit of armor for a lot of physical and missile resistance, and, frankly, against ordinary opposition, they take suspiciously low levels of damage. They're a lot hardier than Slaangors against ranged attack comparatively. We're not going to use the Sisters of Avalorn Doomstack standards to judge either. Nothing survives that in fair fight. Nothing. So the point is, the unit fights well broadly, they will fight even more stupidly well with Frenzy. The crossbows allow an option for adding to the damage you're pouring in with quite a bit of gouging out heavy armor, but still people seem not fully satisfied with their offerings. The unit comes with 80 entities on Ultra, so even if the individuals are superior, they're only going to shine in the best ways when dominating low to mid tier infantry, but they're just plain not bad. They are much, much less vulnerable to being picked apart at range than Daemonettes, which own the cheap mass anti-armor scene. Well, using with an Anointed for Frenzy also makes these extra good. Bottom line, use the crossbows like limited time only shades, minus the stealth, happily throw them into melee after. Use the regulars like shock troops that kick in on a timer and do you a lot of good in a longer battle. Both can dominate matchups against some forms of ranged opponents and will be vicious in any kind of infantry fight against missile units. I feel they work just fine for what they are. But since they do not have devastating flanker themselves, remember that they can perform ad hoc anvil duty for the many units that do. Take care and have fun showing your utter devotion by slitting throats and turning dragons into pincushions.